All
Perfect. We're
right.
set.
Okay. Thank you. Let me get this somewhere over here. All right. Now, thank you for the assistance. So, I thought just start by discussing how Bozeman Creek came to be rather quickly and what the purpose is for advocating for Bozeman Creek downtown and then get to what's in store for the development of the vision plan and how we, the people working on the vision plan, can gain effectively and efficiently from the collaborative as a whole and the individual members. I don't know why oh, there we go. I think that the current focus on how Bozeman Creek could get better and should get better as it runs through downtown really in recent history begins with the restoration that happened in Bogart Park between 2012 and 2015. And there's probably numerous people on this call that were involved with that. I think it gives people something they can get a hold of to see what kind of urban functioning creek could look like and what it could be, as opposed to the way it is downtown now. Related to that, in the past 20 years, there have been multiple plans and proposals of how to improve the creek downtown. And to date, really nothing of any substance has happened. And the creek still continues to be to look like this as it runs through downtown. In 2019, the Downtown Bozeman Partnership um, had a look at the Bogart Park stretch and it looked at downtown and looked at all these plans that were sitting on the shelf. And they said, everybody says we got to do something about the creek, but literally nothing has happened. And so they approached Mountain Time Arts at that time and asked us if art might bring something to the table that plans and laws and regulations had not been able to move the needle. And so we did some focus groups in the beginning of 2020, started talking to people that know about water, including people from the collaborative and people from Aggie and others, and decided that art could approach and try to do three things. One is to educate people about the greater watershed downtown. The people are downtown, and that's a unique opportunity to try and bring more knowledge of the greater water systems, to celebrate the water, and then to prompt people to really think about our values as a community and approach the idea that we can do better than the existing conditions. So in 2023, we completed this project with the artist Ben Pease at City Hall over the creek, and it um, tries to highlight all the species that are dependent on water and also show that's on the right panel, and on the left panel a map of the lower Gallatin watershed and where this creek is an important piece of the greater systems. At the same time, in 2024, we realized that this effort needed to really be bigger than an arts organization. So we grew ourselves into a citizens group called See Bozeman Creek. And there's about 50 people that stay informed about issues that way. And there's a core group of about 20 of us that are the leaders of that group, and that consists of these entities and some others. At the same time in 24, and this has been really a game changer in terms of making any progress with the creek downtown. The city commission, in the lead with the lead of Terry Cunningham, established the what was called at that time the revitalization of Bozeman Creek as one of the city's top 10 priorities for the 24 to 26 fiscal years. Um, and so that springs into action the priority along with affordable housing and um, other really pressing issues for city staff to spend time and put their attention to how we could do better with the creek. Also in 24, we commissioned 5 artists to celebrate the creek with these large-scale banners, and they were displayed at Slam in August of 24. And they now belong to the Parks Department, and they have used them to celebrate and engage with passersby at other places where the creek, where water and wetlands are present in the park system, which is in many, many places. Then in 2025, last year, we really turned our attention to prompting people and engaging people to consider our values as a community around water and what we're looking at when we look at the water downtown and asking the question, might we do more? Might we at least make a start? Or are we going to continue to neglect and sully this lifeblood of our community? Can we overcome our self-indulgence in this one place that's the hub of our community? So given the city's priority, at the same time in August of last year, an engineering report was completed by Allied Engineering that looked at what needs to be done to mitigate the dangers and risks of a 100-year flood event in the stretch of the creek basically between Kagi and State Highway, headed downstream and to the north. That plan came up with 4 alternatives of what to do to address the flood waters and reduce them and make it safe if we did have a 100-year or when we have a 100-year event. This shows the current condition of which can you see my pointer bouncing around? Yeah. Um, Between Kagi and the highway, there's 24 places that are too small to pass a 100-year event. And this shows where the water in the floodplain would go if there was a 100-year event, if we did nothing. This shows if all those constrictions were reconfigured and fixed and made better, then a 100-year event could pass through the existing path of water and look like this. It does have some flooding where it hits the upwelling of the highway. Another alternative is to do some improvements along the existing waterway, but not all of them, and then improve the existing ditch known as the mill ditch that starts at Ice Pond and goes to the base of Pete's Hill by the library, under Town Pump and out north of the Indidroland wetlands and like that. And in this scenario, if a 100-year event came along, 75% of the water could go in this, what would become a dry creek bed. There's not enough water to water both of those routes. But that's an option. And then the third and fourth options are just some combinations of both. So out of that data, the current thought is that, well, it doesn't really do anything for anybody besides safety to just run a bulldozer through downtown and improve the tunnel and make just a bigger ditch. And we as a community should take this opportunity where we really need to make things safer and develop a bold vision based on existing conditions and realistic opportunities to get a hold of ourselves as a community and really dream big and envision what Bozeman Creek could become. To imagine what's overlooked, revitalize benefits, and allow the waterway to flourish. Imagining a beautiful and healthy waterway that reflects our values. To respect, revitalize, and reconnect. And the bottom support for that is when places heal, people thrive. When the city then in the early fall developed an RFP to find a consultant to work with all of us on this. Now my little pointers are not advancing. I guess, is this in the way or something? Or oh,
Jim, I see goals.
yeah, I do too. I'm trying to push the arrow buttons. Oh, wait, let me get this out of here. Oh, here, let me try. Okay, here we go. So the RFP went out and oh, it did again. Oh, sorry, let me go back. Okay. Um, so those goals that I just read were then just more succinctly stated in a way for the RFP that could be quantified, et cetera, in terms of deliverables. So the goals for the RFP for the vision plan are to enhance flood mitigation efforts, improve water quality, increase access and connectivity to parks and trails, support economic development, and strengthen community connection to a vital resource. There were 7 proposals that the city received in November, and a team from a team called Port Urbanism uh, and an engineering firm called Rio Allied Science and Engineering. That team was selected to work with us, us being the community, the city and the community, to develop the vision plan. Um, and so Port has offices in Philadelphia and Chicago, and Rio Associated Science Engineering is located in Boise. And they have worked together as a team on many similar water restoration projects in urban situations. Um, in the scope of work, it is envisioned and um, proposed that the process for the consultant team in collaboration with the city, with the greater Bozeman water community and all the uh, experts that we have around this table will work together with C. Bozeman Creek at the nexus as the interface between the consultant team, the city, and the community. The way that C. Bozeman Creek is poised and proposing to do this is going to look like this. And we have an advisory committee that has been assembled and has met already to um, prepare to have our first meeting with the consultants tomorrow, a Zoom meeting, um, that we would work like this as a committee and spokes of a wheel with 11 members. And those are a citizen and public health professional, Kathy Kostakis, myself and Steve Noble as the co-leaders, Ellie Staley of the Downtown Bozeman Partnership representing downtown, Jill Falcon, an Indigenous water protector and food sovereignty person who works at the university and who actually lives on the creek. John Henderson, Assistant City Manager, will be managing this project for the city. Rob Pertzborn, architect at Intrinsic Architecture. Terry Cunningham as a policy person. Uh, Chris Brown from Allied Engineering that wrote the engineering report. Ben Bennett, a marketing and communication person. Peter Skidmore, water resource restoration person. And listening to the creek itself. So each of these people will be reaching out to their networks in their community so that when some question comes up and people need to talk to somebody or learn more or gain or bounce some ideas off as a sounding person, as a sounding board rather, somebody on this group will know who to talk to. We're envisioning three levels of interaction with the community. There would be the primary, and this diagram, by the way, is just schematic. I just plugged in some names of the types of groups. These aren't necessarily what we'll end up with, but they're a pretty good start. These would be the primary people that would be talked to more frequently, most likely, than just attending public citizen meetings and like that. So there'd be a primary outreach range and then a secondary outreach range. This is the Inter-Neighborhood Council, Watershed Council, GVLT, Trust for Public Land, people from the indigenous communities, downtown, and city, like that. Oh, this, and then the public engagement page on the city website has already been going for a few months now. The city public engagement process will be in full speed. There's 35 groups on here, and I've taken a first stab at kind of grouping them. This is the city hierarchy. This is the streets and engineering people. But anyway, in the next few slides, I'll show how we're going to go about this. But this is whoops, a bird's eye view of the greater community outreach that will happen. This is a schedule, a schematic of the schedule for the year. The scope has been developed in concert with the port people and the city. That happened in January. Oh, by the way, we're going to be presenting to the city commission this an abbreviated version of what I'm telling you right now to the city commission tonight at their meeting. Then we're meeting by Zoom with the port people tomorrow afternoon to talk about it as a kickoff meeting. And this is the phasing through the year. So February through May, community engagement, literature review, meet with a whole bunch of people, and develop kind of the overall vision of how we're gonna do this very complicated stuff, including looking at code requirements and case studies and how other communities have gone about um, this kind of restoration in an urban core. Then there'll be some in June through the summer. They'll be doing some concept design, looking at different alternatives, and including funding and phasing of implementation. October, we'll be coming back to the community with suggested alternatives and ways of going about this, and then finalizing things in the fall. Some people have asked already, like, why does this take so long? Why don't we just cut to the chase? Part of the reason is that the community involvement and outreach. But the other part is that there are many projects going on with the city right now. And in order to have meaningful engagement and when people are stretched really thin and they got to pay attention to all these other things, it was decided to take the time required. Mm. Okay. This is the outline of that for the year. I'm just going to look at a copy that I can actually read to interpret it for you all. Uh, ah,
Your slideshow just wants to keep going, doesn't it, Jim?
well, I think this happened in December over in Gateway. I think it's my fingers are not up to the task. Okay, these, no, there we go. These blue dots, each of these dots is or squares is a week. These are virtual meetings, basically every 2 to 3 weeks through the year, where the consultants will not be here, but will be meeting virtually as we need to with other people. The yellow dots are squares are when they will be here in person. And so that happens about every 6 weeks. And the green is website surveys. And so all of this stuff will be sorted out. What do we mean by website survey? I don't know what we mean by that, but if we need it, we'll do it. And then this blue turquoise dots down here are community events. On the left, this gray things, I'll point out a few things. The public outreach is going to continue the whole time. It's going to be really intense in the beginning, but we're going to be touching base with the public all along the way. Here, the existing conditions assessment is going to include a analysis of opportunities and constraints. And then very importantly, in my mind, down here, implementation recommendations. How could this be sequenced? And it's going to take, it's not all going to happen at once. And once the vision is in place and what needs to be done, some really based in reality suggestions. Okay, we should do this first and this second, and then funding approaches. That'll be being investigated all along with some realistic ways of raising the very large amounts of money that implementation will take. My notes here are catching up with me. Okay. It is intended to do as much as we can going out to meet the community groups and people where they are, rather than going to some basement hotel room and inviting people to bring their markers. And there may be some of that, but we're really going to go tag team with existing community events. So this is a Bell diagram of the process in our minds, and it's intended to bring the right ingredients together to make something happen, to enliven the creek and reconnect it to the community in meaningful and impactful ways. And to get there, we need to listen to and respect multiple voices. We won't decide who counts and who belongs ahead of time. The water matters and the people matter. So hopefully, the outcome will be a comprehensive vision of what's possible based in feasibility, and it will be necessary to win the necessary community support. And that's only going to happen with a very deliberate, inclusive process. The vision must be bigger and more inspirational than the individual parts. It can't proceed on a lot by lot basis in our minds. It's not only to reduce the flood dangers, and it's not only a water restoration project, and it's not only a benefit for downtown. It has to be all of these. And the work ahead must gather these tangible concerns and reflect back a vision that reconnects the water with the greater community and treats the creek with the respect it deserves. So this bell curve just kind of shows that we gotta get away from the status quo and give ourselves permission to really look at some bold options and then filter that down into what's feasible and come up with something that people, when they look at it, they'll just say, "Oh my God, of course we should do that." So that's the that's what I got, um, or what we got, and it's our water and it's our creek. So I'm looking forward to talking with you all today and ongoing about how we can best utilize everyone's smarts and good experience and good knowledge. So thank you for this opportunity, and I'm eager to talk about all this.